You are listening to the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy.
Whoa! Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic gotta say. I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitted for it, cause you all cap like. Hold up, I shoot my shot, wait, hold up. I'm really about to run this go up. You know it's all net when it go up. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand.
And welcome. It's Monday morning, and the last Monday of March. And this is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy. Joining me to start the week off is Leo behind the controls.
Good morning, Troy. How you doing today, man?
I am all right, man. I'm all right. It's a beautiful day out already. Nice 77 degrees, blue skies here in the most beautiful place in America, Arizona, man. I love it here. I love it here. And also joining us on the comfortable couch, Mikey G. Mikey, what's up, man?
Morning. How you doing? How was your weekend?
Weekend was really good. We had a nice weekend. Met a friend of mine and his wife for dinner on Saturday night at Bourbon Steak, and even he's been in Arizona for a pretty long time, 20-some years. It was his first time there, and he had heard, second time. I think he said he was maybe there for a business lunch or something.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah,
Nice.
They definitely enjoyed it, and, yeah, he's a great dentist, Dr. James Chaffin, down in Glendale. This is where I drive all the way to Glendale to see my dentist.
Must be a good dentist then.
He does like specialty shit. That's
okay.
That's what makes him so good, and he teaches as well because he has, a more advanced way of doing some things, I guess.
Okay. He's at the forefront of like new techniques and stuff like that.
Definitely. He's very, very good. But we had a great time with that. We got some workouts in. We just normal shit. We we watched some basketball, of course.
Oh yeah.
and have been. Yeah, and it was good. It was phenomenal. It was surprising. Michigan looks just like a bulldozer.
Yeah.
But I thought some other teams did too. Arizona looks very good.
Oh yeah.
And I really was shocked with the Duke, like everybody else. With the
Duke was shocked.
With the Duke and UConn thing that they just blew it. I mean, it's
that's the madness.
I don't know if that's on the player, if it's on the coach. It's probably a little bit of both.
I was gonna say both. That's kind of been like the narrative for Duke these last few years. Is they always get like Elite Eight, Final Four, but like in these championship moments, they just can't execute for whatever reason. I mean, they were running through UConn. They're up like 17 points at half.
Yeah,
and then that's consequently on the other side with UConn, their narrative is that they're not always like considered the best team, but when you get in these championship moments, like they find a way. I mean, they fucking couldn't hit a three to save their life last night, and what ended up winning them the game is a fucking three from almost midcourt.
Yeah.
So it's like
a logo three, as Caitlin Clark has made it famous.
So like I think like UConn's experience, like they may not have like a Cameron Booth, like the Boozer brothers, like they're freshman phenoms, but they have the experience, and like I think that's just what won out in the end.
Well, that's the thing, I've watched Boozer play, I really thought he was truly an elite player, but there has to be a little question mark now after what happened for him to get rid of the ball. Why didn't he, with 4 seconds left or 6 seconds, whatever it was, why didn't he want to keep the ball with the lead, which would simply mean somebody had to foul him?
Yeah.
Somebody had to foul him. If he just hangs onto the ball, if he doesn't try to pass it, shoot, he had to do nothing but hold the ball. And he didn't want that opportunity to ice the game. You gave that up and passed that to someone else. That makes me, as good as he is and talented as he is, and I watched it. That, oh, man, that just, if you're drafting a dude,
yeah,
I don't know. You know what I mean?
It's just, I think it's just as much inexperience as anything. Like
man, you're born with that killer instinct. You're born wanting to kill shit.
Yeah, I can't. I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I can't hold it against him completely. Like, yeah, he didn't have to pass that ball, especially there's two dudes in front of him.
And there was another player that could have done the same thing.
Yeah, well, there's two dudes in front of him too. Like, wasn't the smartest thing to do. But I think I think it's just inexperience, and I think he just folded. I think he just got like in that nervous.
Okay, but that's where the coach comes in and reminds you, hey, get the ball in. Whoever the ball has gotten into, just hang on to the ball, let him foul you.
Well, that's the criticism with how good. Even though John Shire has done a great job since he's taken over since Coach K, that is like the number one thing. It's like it seems like in these specific moments when they need to not fuck up, something happens. They fuck up. Like one small mistake, and it always costs them. And that's been like what everybody talks about. What is it about John Shire to where he can get them almost all the way there? But there's one specific thing that just stop. It's like mental mistakes too.
Well, I think he has the talent and does such a great job, recruiting. And it is Duke. I mean, how hard a job should that really be? Yeah. Right? It's been that way for your generation. It was that way in my generation. Okay. This is not new. Yeah. Teams go through periods where they struggle and a little bit here and there, but, Duke in North Carolina has been a thing for a long period of time.
Will continue to be.
And will continue to be. And two of the best jobs you can get as a coach by far. So I think the talent when they're playing most teams is just so overwhelming for those other teams. They don't get into this position very often.
Yeah.
It's just that just doesn't happen. Yeah. The game is over. It's not that close. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, and that's the essence of March Madness.
Yeah,
those moments that don't normally happen.
Yeah, for sure. And after watching Alabama earlier, what was it, Thursday, play and just dominate, and their threes raining from everywhere on the floor there, I really thought they were going to give Michigan a run, and they certainly tried for a while, but Michigan is just so physically dominating. They're just a very physical team, and then just they impose that physicality on the other team. Wow. But we're going to have some great games. It's the only one that I'm not really all into is, what is it, Tennessee and.
Well, Tennessee just got beat by Michigan. That's who they ran. That's who Michigan ran through.
Who was the other? There was one.
Illinois.
Illinois. That's the game. And Illinois was playing
Iowa, I believe.
Iowa. Yeah, that's the one. I'm like I would have liked to see one of these other teams that are playing these 1-2s have been be in a different section of the bracket, so that we don't end up with that, because I think we're going to end up with three very dominant, you can't choose which of the three is going to win, but we can at least pick the one that won't. Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. Yeah, because I'm not impressed by Illinois at all.
I think they're a lot. I think they're like the only 2 seed that nobody really takes serious. Like they fly under the radar, but. They have a good point guard. They've got size. Like they're a good team. Like they're like a lot like Michigan, and to where they're very physical and they use their size, because size isn't surprisingly a big thing in college. Because it's a lot of it's run and gun up the court. You see it
very fast.
High Point and I think what was that? High Point and somebody else, but High Point, they literally get the ball, fucking dribble down twice, pass it, jack up a 3, get the rebound. If they don't, get back down to the court, make a defensive stop, same thing. Throw the ball down the court, jack up a 3. So, I think when you have teams that have this size and they can slow the game down and impose their will, there's not an answer for that when you don't have size.
The one thing that I have enjoyed about the college ball is the defensive play.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That has been the games have been enjoyable to watch for just that alone.
Yeah.
I think, compared to the NBA and
Yeah,
other
the
things,
effort.
which is the
You
effort.
can just see how much they want it.
on both sides of the
Yeah.
court. Yeah. Because that used to be a thing in the NBA.
Oh yeah, it used to be.
It used to be.
Now it's on the it's on the play. I put that on the players. I put that on the owners, but I also put it on the NBA with their soft ass rules that they impose.
Yes.
And the unwritten rules that I know that they've whispered to the NBA refs, because like sometimes you see shit and it's just like somebody will like make this big dramatic move, like, oh, I just got fouled, and you watch the replay. He doesn't even get hit.
Not even
But
close.
they're
They're 6
call
inches away.
They call it a foul, and that's again. I think it's just because they want more points, more opportunity for points, and that's. Oh, did you see here? The NFL's fucked. We are fucked. We're back.
Okay.
We're back in the Fail Mary days. The NFL's hiring replacement refs because the negotiations. They have a new negotiation with the referees union.
Yeah, but they're so bad. How bad can that be?
Do you remember the Fail Mary?
Yes.
Dude, it was like as bad as it is now, it will get worse. And they said they're training them now, but like you're going to need, it takes a lot more in the fucking summer to train a referee.
Sure. And how many guys are going to leave a permanent job and, say being a college SEC, referee, official? Why would they leave that position for a temporary position in the NFL?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
They're not. So you're gonna get guys from D3,
Yeah.
or D3
Oh, yeah,
referees or something, right?
Absolutely. Well, the problem is that the NFL referees union is arguably the best union on the face of this planet because they're the only union that can have a multi-billion-dollar company at its fucking knees sometimes. And this is going to be one of those situations. They're going to hold out and they're going to get what they want because they're going to see the product that they have to put out, to replace these refs. And it's going to be a shit show. People are going to, with gambling, oh my Lord. This is going to be, I can't even imagine the parlays that are going to get fucked over and people just crashing out.
I didn't think of that. You're right.
So I think there's a lot of money involved just outside of just directly paying the referees, and the refs know that.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it works out, but hopefully they're going through with this referees academy because I would like to see former players actually become referees because there is a genuine interest, but it's not worth it for former players to be referees right now. But if they do the academy, they set up the way that they're saying they're going to set it up, I think that'd be phenomenal because a lot of refereeing is a feel for the game. And I'm not saying the refs now don't have a feel for the game, but those players, it's more recent. They've been in those situations as a player. They can just feel certain things before they're going to happen. And I think that intuition is what's needed so much as a referee.
I don't know if you saw or not, but I did because Dawn and I we love football.
Mm-hmm.
We love any football. We just love football. So we watch some of the UFL.
Okay.
And what I like about the UFL is that they still have the real kickoff.
Oh yeah.
They still have the real kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
And their halftime for their kickoff weekend, dude, they had Nelly.
Really?
They had DJ Khaled.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
it was good, dude.
It's like a partner. It's like a group like The Rock and like Vince McMahon.
There's a new dude.
Right? Oh, it's somebody new now?
Yeah, there's a new investor. Can we look up this new investor? I think his name is Mike Repole.
I'm not too sure.
Repole. He's like he's like a small time billionaire.
Oh.
Do you know that we even say that anymore? Just because some of these billionaires have so much money, hundreds of billions. So when Elon and these guys got 100, 300, 500 billion, when you hear a guy has 2.5 billion, you're like,
I've seen more. I've seen better. It's like, what the fuck do you got?
Yeah.
Mike Repole joined UFL ownership on July 31st, 2025. So pretty recent.
Yeah, he was a part of Vitamin Water
and Body Armor. Kobe's
Body Armor
thing. Wow. And he's in charge of all UFL business operations. That's actually kind of nuts. So not only is he an investor, He's in charge of marketing, expansion, and finding smaller, more intimate venues.
Yeah, they added a couple. This is a smart move. They added a couple new teams. Louisville, I believe, maybe, and Columbus. And one of the other things that they're doing is I went years and years ago. They had built a new stadium for the Columbus soccer team, you know, for the professional soccer team. And what they're doing now is they're looking to play football in the these soccer stadiums because they have, you know, they feel like they can fill those better, you know, that 20, 25,000 and not make it look like, you know, if you have 15,000 people and you have it in a 65,000 stadium, it doesn't look good.
Yeah, it looks very
You know what I mean? Where this will look better. They're looking to play in there. And I'm like, that's a smart move.
Oh yeah, no,
You know?
I think I'm never against like punching above your weight class. You know, it's not a bad thing. But sometimes from a business standpoint, things like this just make sense. Just work within your lane, and then you got to start somewhere. So you start there, and then you start getting to those 60, 70,000 seat stadiums.
There was an Ole Miss quarterback that's playing that was, oh, fuck. It'll come to me.
Is it Chad Kelly?
No, one of the recent ones over the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. That
Matt
was
Corral?
good. Matt Corral is playing in the UFL this season. I think they said they've had maybe last year 35 players that came through the UFL, and the two most prominent ones were kickers that they got from the UFL.
To the NFL?
That went to the NFL. Yeah.
That's what
They're doing much better at moving people up from there. And if you still want to play, you want to just train or you want to get more actual reps.
Yeah.
And you're getting reps against other, you know, these players may not be all as elite as the NFL, but they've all played D1 college ball.
D1 and some pro ball. I mean, some of them are just like
absolutely.
They didn't pan out yet. Like, that's not to say they can't make it.
Exactly.
At this point in time, they haven't. But I've been saying, I've actually had this conversation a lot with my friends that I always thought that these smaller football leagues should have all come into one like they have, and then kind of just swallow their pride and just be like a minor league to the NFL. Just sign a contract, that way you have that NFL backing, and then once you get to a point where you feel like you can break away and be your own thing, then you do it.
And it gives the NFL another choice of coaches, you know, and to see how they do. AJ McCarron, former quarterback for Alabama, he's a first-year coach now. Yeah, they have some good. They have some good coaches.
Yeah,
in the league.
I think this is going to be a good pipeline for the NFL, for coaching, for players, Brandon Aubrey.
And the play wasn't terrible.
No,
it wasn't. Oh, they have another new. They have a couple other rules that are different, and it happened in the first weekend that they do this. They have a 4-point play.
Is
60-yard field goal. If you kick a 60-yard field goal or further, it's 4 points.
Interesting. That's
well, it just makes them think if you got a dude with a leg, because I watched the game last night. The dude made a 50-55 yarder, and he had room to go.
Room to go, yeah. Thanks.
And it was dead center.
Thanks, Brandon Aubrey. Fucking hitting 70-yard field goals, making everybody just think, oh, well, I can do that too. Thanks a lot.
Right?
That dude's fucking changed kicking.
Then probably a good rule for them too is because you're talking about points. This is the kind of point thing I don't mind so much, but you only have to have 1 foot inbounds, like in college, for a reception. And I don't know. I just think the NFL has made it so confusing to what is actually a catch.
Yeah.
And what is control of the ball and taking a step, and you got to make a football move.
Yeah.
Like, I always know when I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
I know what's a catch and what's not a catch.
Yeah.
The look test is the best test to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They try to do it on like a per basis situation, and I've never
it wasn't always shin is a toe and a shin is 2 feet.
Yeah,
they got all these fucked up rules. If it's just a toe, if it's just one that has to get in, that's not controversial. You
No,
see what I'm
'cause
saying?
it's just one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't think they'll ever change that, to be honest. I think they're in too deep with all that.
Yeah, they probably are in the NFL, but I don't mind it.
Yeah.
You know, in this, I don't mind it at
Yeah.
all.
And actually, speaking of things that rules as well, that happened first in history. Did you see what happened with the Yankees game on Friday? I believe it was.
I don't think
It
so.
was the second game against the Giants.
Okay.
Granted, we're very early into this, ABS system, and then the
Oh,
pitch
was that
clock.
when the dude missed 6 of them?
No, but that was a different.
Oh, that was a different. Yeah.
that was a
Okay.
different- But yeah, so we're very
6
early.
out
in-
of 8.
Yeah, we're very
Okay,
early
so,
in ABS
yeah,
and all
okay.
that, and the pitch clock. And so we had the first ever inning to start with a pitch clock violation, like the very first, before even the first pitch, and then the very first inning to end as like a reverse call strikeout. So like both of these things happened in start and then beginning, and like, yeah, it's early, but it's the first time ever. I thought it was crazy that both of those things happened at the beginning and the end, where last year pitch clock violations didn't happen that much. There's actually a lot more that are happening now than there were last year. And you would think it would be the other way around.
The opposite.
But
Yeah.
it's weird. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. A little baseball history there.
Yeah. I always thought with the pitch clock that, I don't know, it's not terrible, but part of the thing is about baseball is it is a slower game. That's just the game part of it. And I was surprised that they did it, mainly for that. If you cut a game down from 3 hours to 2.5, that's and now the 2.5 hour game, the 7th inning is coming sooner, which means beer sales stop.
Yeah.
So I always thought, how much were beer sales affected by the pitch clock and the bottom line? Because all they care about is the bottom line and the money. That's why it surprised me the most of them doing it, because aren't you losing some money here?
Yeah.
Maybe they're not. Maybe
they-
people are drinking faster.
I was gonna say
they've
that-
adapted.
I was going to say, I feel like they kind of just put it on the fans. They're like, hey, you're just going to have to drink faster and maybe leave a
That's
couple extra
good.
minutes earlier to get that last beer. That's what I think.
Maybe so. So yeah, I did like that. I want to get into something that's pretty serious. It's happened on Friday with Tiger Woods. I'm just going to say that I am a Tiger Woods fan, but I like the old school golfers. I've studied and read about, I'm talking old school golfers like Sam Snead and type golfers, the ones who really were the very beginning of professional golf. Because I always liked sports. I liked reading. I liked reading about sports. I liked reading about people's lives, and then Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus. And I believe Jack Nicklaus is the greatest golfer of all time. I believe Tiger Woods is number 2, and he'll always be number 2. I think Tiger Woods would acknowledge he's number 2. To get to number 1, he set a target to get as many wins in the Masters and PGA, your big 4 tournaments. And he looked like he was on track to do it for much of his career. And then his career got derailed. It got derailed when he got a divorce from his wife, when, he got busted or outed for fucking around with a bunch of other women and just all kinds of stuff. And his career was never the same after that, between that and injuries. And it was great when, I think it was 2019, that Tiger Woods came back and won the Masters. And that's just a course that's set up for Tiger Woods. Okay. That's one today. If he's healthy, could he compete at his age on that course? Yes. That course is just set up and always has been and built for his game, and none of the changes they made to it to Tiger-proof it ever worked. Now, when you're talking about, PGA or a U.S. Open, that was always going to be harder, because harder for everybody, just the rough, just everything. And the the British Open, the Open Championship, on different courses there. That was built for him too, because it's not just it's the ability to sometimes run these balls up from different areas, because it is a different type of a course than what we normally play here. That was kind of set up for him, but really the Masters, and he can play in the Masters for as long as he wants.
Yeah.
He can show up. If you win the Masters, you get to come back forever. And, you might just hit a tee shot when you get, 75 years old. But, if you're 65 and you want to play 2 rounds and miss the cut, you get to.
Yeah.
And, that takes up spots. I think it's of all of the major championships, it has the least, that it's the weakest field, so to speak. So again, that just favored Tiger. But him coming back, I love seeing old guys, come back and do great things. I remember when Jimmy Connors made a comeback and made it to either the quarters or semifinals, and I wasn't even a big, I was more of a McEnroe fan. I wasn't a Connors fan, but I was a Jimmy Connors fan that day.
Yeah.
To have an old dude coming back and have the crowd, the U.S. Open, all screaming, and that was just, those are great sports moments, and I love that kind of stuff. And to me, sports is life. And so you have Tiger Woods, who was literally groomed from birth. I'm pretty positive he had some type of, 12-inch bullshit club that was laid next to him in the crib. You know what I mean? It was foam or something.
Well, he was like
a
5
little
years old.
plastic thing.
He was like 5 years old on talent shows or like
And he could
talk
hit
shows,
it.
and he was like
He was hitting the ball.
He was like better than most adult golfers before he could even really count all his numbers.
Yeah. So he was golfing and walking at the same time, kind of a thing. Yeah, just phenomenal. He was groomed for this. And if you followed his career, which I have, very, very closely, I don't know if there was ever a golfer, including Jack Nicklaus, who was more disciplined than Tiger Woods. Just focused and disciplined, and he would just zone in, and he got into it really wasn't a thing for these golfers to be physically in good shape. Tiger kind of pioneered that.
Yeah.
And because it used to be thought that would mess up your swing and you have muscle and all that. Tiger proved all that was bullshit.
Yeah.
That you could do and be physically fit and golf. But that discipline, that's what, when I look at this as an alcoholic and addict and been sober for over 17 years, when I look at this, I have a different perspective than many people out there that are talking about this. And because of the number of times that this happened, and going back to the very beginning, which I think was around 2011, and I can probably pull that up. I had it on my phone. I had a story here that I use this story because it has a good timeline. And Sports Illustrated story. After another car crash, Tiger Woods must face the hard truth. He is an addict. We probably should have, come to this conclusion sooner, because look, comparing it to a DUI, and he should have had other DUIs, driving under the influence. Driving under the influence does not always mean alcohol, and it wasn't in this case. Breathalyzer test showed nothing, and he refused a urinalysis. There you go. Because, urinalysis is going to show, if you're using Percocets or something like that. Mm-hmm. I believe that, he's addicted to mostly pain pills.
Yeah.
And that happened to Rush Limbaugh, too. And I love Rush Limbaugh. Rush was able to deal with it and handle it. It didn't seem to follow him for another 15 years after, we all found out about it, and he dealt with the issue. Tiger's been to whatever kind of rehab that he's been to as well. I have certain feelings about that, about rehabs and their success rate. What I know is successful is AA is successful. That's what I know. When you apply it, it works. And yeah, even though he's not the alcohol, most people are, I'm sure Tigers has a drink, and if he's addicted to these pain pills, then if he did really stop those, he'd start maybe abusing alcohol more to deal with the pain. And so, because this is the thing, he was dealing with real pain and got addicted to them while he was going through and had real serious injuries and recovering from these injuries and had real pain. He's had back problems, not just knee problems as well. And I just think that Tiger Woods has, because of his belief, it's so much, I know it's so hard for this guy to deal with his addiction, because I know how I felt. And and even people around me, my ex-wife used to say, she didn't understand, why I couldn't just stop. Or, do you not care about us? Do you not care about your family? Do you not care about your kid? Do you not care about your career? Look at what Tiger had. He had the world, I mean, you couldn't have more accomplishments than just, the money, the life, the accomplishments, and he's done a lot of good things too, foundations, giving away money. I mean, he's been generous. He'd like, how do you fuck that up? That's what drugs do. It doesn't discriminate. It's not just some, low life in a, trailer park. That's not it. People with money and wealth can become addicted just like this, just like Rush did. But I think for Tiger, just like myself, as I was saying, what my wife used to say is like, why can't you do this? I watch you put your mind to so many other things, and whatever you've put your mind to or set yourself on a task for, you've accomplished it. If you really wanted it, you were disciplined and you made it happen. And that's true. I could, except for this one thing. And I could for periods of time. And I did a year, 2 years, 3 years. I did for different periods of time. But it wasn't until, and I had an early stint with AA when I was around 20 years old for a year. And that kept me sober for a few years, because I did all the work in that first year. And then I moved from where I was back to my home area in Toledo, Ohio. And when I did that, I continued on into AA, but not in the same way. I didn't have a home group. I didn't get a new sponsor. And, instead of going to multiple meetings a week, I was, maybe going to one meeting a week. And then eventually I wasn't going to any. And I stayed sober for a little longer. But when you stop doing the things that get you there, that's when that comes back. Because we get a daily reprieve. And I only focus on staying sober for one day. And I believe anybody can stay sober for a day. That's the key. Can you not have a drink for today? And then once I do that, it starts all over. Well, now you got a new 24-hour period to do that same thing. And it's just truly one day at a time. But again, Tiger, I'm 100% sure, because of his accomplishments and his belief and the discipline he has, he has always believed he could handle it. And all right, but dude, we're far enough into this now. The writing's on the wall, dude. You're not dumb. You're not handling it. And you got to admit that you're not handling it. And are there people going to say dumb shit? There's always people saying dumb shit. Always. But I promise, Tiger Woods, that more people are rooting for you, man. They want you to be sober. They want you to be you should get sober and eventually, be able to talk about this to help other people. What you go through is, I really believe, what you help others with. And he could definitely do that. And he has a story of like, look, nobody was more disciplined than me. And I couldn't do it. He can't do it. You can't do it without a higher power. It just doesn't happen. And for the handful of people that think they've gotten sober without AA, most of the time they were godless. Look, I've seen people stay sober as long as I've been sober, 17 years, and use again and blow it all, blow a whole 17 years. But during that 17 years, most of that 17 years, they were miserable fucks. The only thing they fixed was putting a cork in the bottle. They didn't do anything about fixing themselves, fixing their life, fixing the shit that was wrong that's inside of us. That is what makes us drink in the first place. Because there is something fucked up inside of us that makes us do that. And we are responsible. It's not an excuse. But anybody that doesn't want to believe it's a disease, you could just go fuck yourself. I don't give two fucks what you think. You're not somebody who is an addict or understands it. You're just somebody with an opinion that's never had to go through this. That's how I think of it anyways. But for Tiger, it goes, this guy had kind of a timeline. So it started here in 2009 after Woods' then wife, Ellen, discovered evidence of infidelity. He fled and drove into a fire hydrant. When police found him, he was not coherent. Later, there would be reports that he had taken Vicodin and sleeping pills, but at the time, police did not treat the one-car accident as a possible DUI. And they should have.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty obvious, but they didn't. In 2017, they arrested Woods when they found him asleep at the wheel. Woods said he had an unexpected reaction to mixing medications. He had Vicodin. I never know how to pronounce this one. Dilaudid? I think it's Dilaudid. I think that's how you pronounce it. It was really fucking strong. It's what Michael Jackson had in his body when he died.
Okay.
That is like strong shit. Xanax and Ambien and THC. And you had an unexpected reaction? Yeah, the only thing that was unexpected is how you were so incredibly fucked up, but you knew you were going to be fucked up doing that.
Oh, yeah. Mixing the uppers with the downers, too.
Yeah.
I'd always do it to you.
I used to think that some medications that, because again, alcoholic, I used to think that some medications, if it had on the vial, do not mix with alcohol, that it really said, take this and drink.
Jesus.
No, seriously, I did.
Opposite day?
Yeah, opposite. Yeah, that must be good. You must get fucked up if you take that with alcohol. That's what I thought.
We do have, we got some comments from Bob here.
Yeah, Bob would know.
So he said, I had finished 200 milers, didn't need meetings. Anyone running was going to keep me sober. We know the rest of the story. And then God, meetings, running, everything else falls into place. So he's referring back to your experience with addiction
and for anybody listening to this show that has questions themselves about or is interested or they have somebody that they know that's an addict, find the interview that I have with my friend Bob. I think we have it in 2 parts, but it's definitely very good. Definitely very good and would be worth listening to. But yeah, you kidding me? Vicodin Dilaudid, Xanax, Ambien, and THC.
I don't know how the
You
fuck he
kn-
was still awake. Like, how the fuck? I would be.
How
knocked
do
the
you
fuck
not end
out.
up in the hospital? That's
Years
crazy.
of tolerance. So that's what it has to be.
And it doesn't say here he was arrested. It doesn't say there was a DUI associated with it. And because if they find you behind the wheel of a vehicle,
That's
he was
yeah.
you're-
OVI, DUI,
yeah,
like, all
it's
of
still
that.
even if you're not driving,
Yeah.
when they pull you, they could still get you for that.
Yep.
At least in most states, I thought.
Mhm.
In 21, Woods' SUV drifted across a median in Southern California, rolled down an embankment, and flipped over. Police said he was driving 87 miles an hour in a 45 zone. There was an empty, unlabeled pill container in the car. Woods told police he thought he was in Florida, and they did not run a toxicology test.
He's just. I mean, they're obviously giving him the.
But
benefit.
all of these things did nothing but enable Tiger Woods.
Yeah, because he kept getting out of it.
You're already shit can't touch you.
Yeah.
You're the greatest again, after Jack, but
Mhm.
you're the greatest. Shit can't touch you. You're bigger. You've accomplished. You've stopped. You could control it. You still got it. But I will compare it to this. Look, anybody can get one DUI. Anybody. It can just happen.
Mm-hmm.
A second DUI, you might want to, maybe the first one, you truly did only have 2 drinks, or maybe you were in a place where there was 0 tolerance, and you didn't blow like that. You were impaired, but you weren't allowed to have any, and you did, or whatever. You can get one. And then you may think that one wasn't that big a deal. You get 2. Man, you really should be thinking about that. 2. But you get 3. You get 4.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a giant red light flashing brightly to fucking stop. You have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Houston, there is a problem
Yep.
here. And that's but you have people, you have parents. Parents mean well, but parents will often enable their kids.
They're usually the worst ones.
Yeah. Spouses will enable them. Maybe even some people's employers will enable them. And why would they enable them? Because when the dude's sober, he sells a ton of shit for that company, and he makes them a shit ton of money. And, they'd like to try to save him so that they could still have their top producer keep fucking producing for them. You know what I mean? Yeah. After his 2017 arrest, Wood said, "I'll do everything in my power to ensure this never happens again." But yet it did. And again. But it was after that he won the 2019 Teen Masters.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we're at now. He played in that TGL, that indoor golf.
Yep.
That he's a part of, and was although Trump just like a day or two before Tiger's accident on Friday answered a question about Tiger Woods, because Tiger Woods is dating Vanessa Trump.
Oh yeah.
And then Kai, Trump's granddaughter, that Vanessa's her mom.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Trump really does have a lot of professional golfers that like him.
Well, he golfs himself too, so that's a very strong bonding point.
It's a very, very strong bond. And, but I hope, maybe even the president will, the president understands. I've listened to the president talk about it. I've listened to the president talk about his brother on Theo Von's show.
Von's, yeah.
And that was super interesting. It was one of the best presidential interviews of all fucking time. Was Theo Von talking about being coked out with the president of the United States. And Trump was really interested in, why he did what he did. Why did he take the drugs, the addiction. He saw that happen to his brother. And Trump has never touched anything anything. He's never drank. He's never smoked a joint, never taken a hit. The dude has never done anything.
I believe it.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can tell, like, there's times where even if it was one time it happened, you would be able to tell because it'd be a stark contrast from how he is when he's sober. He's a very high. He's like a naturally high energy person. So I feel like any of that shit would bring him to almost a screeching halt, and you would see it.
And if he had, drank maybe even casually, and he saw what happened to his brother, he'd say, I saw what happened to my brother. I decided this wasn't that important to me, so I quit too. No, I absolutely believe him when he says he's never used any drugs or alcohol.
Yeah, and it's not like a Clinton.
That's not and nobody who doesn't like him,
has ever accused him of that.
Has ever accused him of that, ever.
That's the one thing I think.
And nobody has been more investigated than this guy.
If he was a drug addict or they would have fucking known. For
sure. And it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough on this new relationship that he has. It's hard to live with us. Because we're lying about our addiction, and we have to tell lies about it to keep drinking. I lied about, we arranged one time, friends of ours, my ex-wife, there's two people that were married that were friends of ours that actually helped introduce and get us, that got us together, even though we went to the same high school and knew each other, but kind of as adults, played a role in making it happen. Anyways, they were both alcoholics, and I had been to meetings with them before, and when I had moved back to Ohio, but then again, like I said, I stopped doing all that. So he approached me. Oh, I'm more mature. I can handle it. I can handle it now. I can control it. Mm-hmm. But people who drink normally don't have those thoughts. They're not thinking, okay, I got to space it out. I got to have water in between each one. Or you come up with all these crazy plans, of how to drink and get a buzz. You still want the buzz, but not get to the point where you black out or you're so fucked up that that you're just a mess, or that people don't want to be around you then because you're just a sloppy mess or whatever. So that's very much how that is. And I'm sure Tiger's a liar. He's lying to himself, and he's been hiding it, for sure, because it's not like something he can just open a bottle in the open and take that stuff. Yeah. And so if he's hiding it, you're lying to people about it. Yeah. Hey, you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Just, didn't sleep well last night, whatever. But you're lying to people. And that's tough in a relationship. So that's going to be tough for him. It's not like they're married. No. She doesn't have any obligation. And even if they do, even if you are, at a certain point, again, because how many times have you said you were just like Tiger? How many times have you said you were going to get help and you didn't? So people aren't going to believe you this time. Yeah. And they don't have to. People didn't have any reason to believe me. My ex didn't have a reason to believe me. And she said, why would I think this time it was going to be it when all the others it wasn't? I thought these other 3 times were your come to Jesus moment. And it wasn't. It wasn't my come to Jesus moment. It wasn't until it was. And all I can tell you about that difference is I felt like my world was spinning so out of control. And yet I was having so much success at the time when it all came crashing down. Outwardly, I had so much success going on. But that, when this started falling, it all fell hard and falling apart. And I just wanted my world to stop spinning out of control. I didn't even want it to get better. That's not what I was praying for. I was praying for it not to get worse. Not to get worse. And my last drinks were on a Sunday night that ended up in a DUI. And I didn't drink for the next several days, and I went to that meeting that I was telling you about. It was a Thursday night men's meeting, and that was my home group for a long time until I changed it to a Monday night men's. But the Monday night and Thursday night were a lot of the same guys.
Yeah.
Both meetings are famous in the Toledo area at that period of time for, just like you said, it's where the guys that have been sober for 40 years were.
Yeah.
Okay. And you couldn't bullshit those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Okay. That didn't happen.
Right through
They
it.
would call you the fuck out, you
Oh, yeah.
know? And it did get a little softer over the years when I was there a little bit, but I didn't. I would do that. I needed that old school, and I gave that old school to other people, and I still do today.
Yeah.
And I do believe that's part of what my mission is, what I do here, what I do in life. I help people with their testosterone and get to feeling better and help men be men again. But I can't tell you the number of times helping somebody do that where at some other point they're like, man, just like they will this when this is cut up into clips. Man, I seen you talking and you've been sober for 17 years and I'm not sure I have a problem, but I feel like maybe I do, and they'll feel comfortable talking to me because I cared about their life being better in the first place. And how did you do it? 17 years, like, man, I'm telling you, that wasn't the plan. My plan was only don't drink today. That was the only fucking plan, is just don't drink today. Because you can't plan and say, well, I'm not going to drink for 17 years or 20. You can't. It doesn't work. You have no control over the future. Okay? You only have control of the time that you're in. And anything that's in the past, you can't change. That's already done. So you only have now. And that's the key thing. And at least for me, a key part is knowing that there is a God and I'm not it. That's where it starts. You don't have to believe, God is Yahweh or God is, Holy Trinity or whatever you want to. You don't have to believe that. What you do have to believe is that you've lost control of your life, and that there is a God, and you need that help. You have to be able to admit that failure, that you are out of control. You cannot control this. And Tiger's proved he can't control it over and over again, and hopefully he sees that this time. He's proven that he cannot control it, and said that he needs legit help. And maybe he'll end up and go to another rehab or something. But to me, what worked was what they called 90 and 90. And that was going to a meeting every day for 90 days and getting a sponsor, I'm sure that there are a few people that he knows and that maybe they'll reach out to him because they might say, Tiger, I don't know if you know, but, I'm 60 now. And, when I was 45 and on the tour, I was an alcoholic and it fucked up my life. And I've been sober for 15 years now, and addiction is addiction. So it doesn't matter if it's an alcoholic or something. It doesn't matter. Addiction is addiction. And you can't replace one drug with another drug or get rid of one drug and do other drugs. Because I've known, I've known that. I've seen people do that. I've seen people give up heroin, but they're still weed smokers. So the really bad shit doesn't happen in their life, but because they still smoke weed and they haven't gotten help, good shit that should be happening in their life is not happening. They're just stuck. Because that's, the weed is still more important. And when it's so important that it's fucking up your life, that's when you know that there's a problem.
Yeah.
Not, somebody that's, been on vacation and smoked weed twice a year. We're not talking about those people. Okay. That's not it. I'm talking about ones that really use it as I did, that and the alcohol. And in fact, for a period of time when I was sober, I went back to just smoking weed because I thought, because nothing bad happened to me when I smoked weed. It was only an addition of alcohol. But the smoking of the weed eventually wore me down to a point where it let that demon back in. Wow, come on, man, you can drink with this a little bit, man. You got this. That motherfucker talks to you, man, and you got to have somebody you can talk to. And so he needs a sponsor, and hopefully somebody reaches out to him that he respects or can respect, and that'll help guide him. And in that first year, I pretty much went every day. I didn't just do the 90-90. I did like every day. I found one. And I even did what some people would call hiding in there. But you know what? If it was hiding, you know what it kept me from doing? Drinking. Yeah. Go to a meeting on an 8 or 9 o'clock on a Friday night. And then you go out with a group of old guys for some fucking ice cream, at Friendlies, because that's what they do. They're 65. That's excitement to them. Okay? That's what we did. Or a coffee or whatever. But yeah, but it put me in a different place than where I usually was on a Friday or Saturday night. Mm-hmm. So there was a choice. I knew if I'm there, they didn't serve alcohol there. So,
yeah,
it wasn't going to be there unless I brought it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really wanted to share about this today because it gives me an opportunity to share about my own story. And, if it can happen to Tiger Woods, it can happen to anybody, and if it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody. And also sobriety can happen for anybody that wants it. If you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to admit that, that your life is a mess and that you don't have control over it. And, that's all the first steps. And, finding a meeting is not hard in the United States. We're in most areas, especially bigger city areas, we're blessed with lots and lots of meetings every day from sometimes, especially we were in Toledo, from 7 o'clock to 7 or 8 at night during the week, like on the hour. And there would be multiple ones, 2 or 3, So there was one you could get to if you wanted it, even if you had to take a bus or ride a bike, there's one you can get to. So I hope that Tiger does that because I do like Tiger. I do. And I just want the best for him, but he needs this because he's also proven that he's a danger to other people, with his driving. And I actually the hardest interview I ever did in my life, my producer set up for me, and oh God, I hated him for it. But I was the first person to interview the father of a young man who blacked out during a wedding celebration, couldn't get back into the hotel room because he was so fucked up. So, passed out in his car for a little bit, but he woke up, went to Taco Bell. Taco Bell people knew he was fucked up, and they called the cops, but it was too late. The Taco Bell was not very far from I-280, a big interstate, and he got on that interstate the wrong direction and hit and killed another family head on. And interviewing the father, that was very, very, it was hard. And because, he's going to be charged with whatever type of manslaughter or whatever
like
they have
vehicular manslaughter.
Yeah, something like that, that you're going to get hit with, and just trash your life, man. And that's
not just his life either.
Yeah, theirs
permanently, and their
permanently,
and the surviving members of that family as well.
100%. And that could Tiger doesn't think about it because it hasn't happened, but that very easily could have been him. Mm-hmm. That very easily could be him. He's crossed a meridian before. I had that happen to me, before I first got sober. I was actually drunk, but another drunk driver crossed the meridian and hit me.
Wow. That's crazy, actually.
Yeah, and then they tried to flee, and the cops got him. But I was messed up too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's the craziest shit. But yeah, he could hurt other people. It's that serious that he's done that, and putting other people's life at risk, like that. That just it's not worth it, man. It's not worth it.
I think that's the number one thing is like even if you have no like care for yourself, or like if that's a road you want to go down, like you don't give a shit about your life, your health, your well-being, at least like don't put that into other people's life. Like I'm not gonna sit here and tell you to be self-destructive like on your own. Like you shouldn't be self-destructive at all. But if that's the decision that you're gonna make, don't jeopardize the lives of an entire family. Like it's not like I'm casting blame or shame or anything like that. Like I understand it's not that black and white. Like there's a lot more that goes into it, but you do have to have that thought in the back of your mind, no matter what, that like your actions do have, they play a role in other people's lives, whether it's like serious or small. I have like a similar situation with a family member of mine, and my grandma is like worried sick, but she's the type to where she worries and it gives her health problems. Mm-hmm. He knows this. He's well aware of this. It hasn't changed anything. So, but in his eyes, he's not doing anything physical. He's not actively there making her life difficult. He just makes it hard in like the mental space of it, and financially as well. That makes things difficult for anybody, but it's the mental aspect that she struggles the most with, because she doesn't care about the money. She wants his well-being to be put first.
Right, but his well-being is to not give him the money.
And I've told, like, if we've gotten into that, like I have been reassured that she has cut off that sort of like leash. It's more of like if food, like if she'll never give him direct money, but if it's like groceries or something that she knows that, he can't just go give for drugs easily, then
yeah. But you know what? You're not gonna starve to death missing one meal.
No.
And whenever an addict, the drug dealer may give him a little bit of a leash and let him buy a little bit on credit, but sooner or later they got to pay.
Yeah, I got to collect.
And then sometimes they'll get cut off for them if they're dead broke without a job, don't matter, but they need $90 to get them a hit of whatever they use or do. Somehow magically they come up with that money.
Yeah.
So if you want to eat, you can magically come up with that shit too, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You can, like, I get it, but you have to let them hit that bottom. Like, wow, man, I can't even, I can't even eat, man. I don't got a place to sleep. I'm sleeping on the street. If you got to sleep on the street, man, unless it's a situation where, it's the dead of winter and it's -2 degrees, but if it's spring, summer, dude, I don't care if you have to sleep outside. Maybe that's what you have to do to wake up to the fact that you have a fucking problem.
Yeah.
But it's when people interfere with that process that it makes it longer and worse. You're making it that gives them, that lifeline gives them an extension of how long they can continue to get away with it and do it.
Like a safety
so if you
net.
care about them, if you really want them to stop, you got to let them hit the ground faster.
Yep.
And especially as we've talked about with certain drugs, man, it's not like alcohol.
No.
That you could just, you could be a 3-month user and get a bad batch and just die, man. So they don't have the opportunity to have the same kind of downfall always as what we do and then become sober. What happens instead is they just die.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So to help them get to that bottom even quicker, that would be a blessing. But
Yeah.
I hear you. Yeah, it's tough.
Well,
It's tough to see somebody do that you care about. You care about her, and being taken advantage of. And
oh yeah, trust me. I had to like put on my best mob boss hat the one day, because I was literally having to make calls to people that like I knew would help me out, because it got to a boiling point in which let me just say it crossed the line that one I never thought he would cross, and it crossed the line to where I said if it ever did get crossed, this is where I'm taking matters into my own hands. I don't care who says what. This is getting done. Long story short, somebody in his house that was contributing to the problem, he's no longer there. My cousin ended up moving to Texas, and then he moved back, and he gained 30 pounds in like 3 months from living in Texas because he wasn't on any of the shit that he was doing. So he just moved back for other reasons. So now what the real worry is, like, is he going to be able to continue? Is he going to be able to stay, keep his head straight? And my grandma's starting to see now, like, she's starting to get the ugly truth and like the harsh realities of what this life really is, and realizing how long he was lying to her and stuff like that. So she's like you said, she's pretty much helping him hit the bottom faster by not enabling it anymore. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what you have to do.
She's like, she's like, if he sleeps in a car, like if he does this, like, I don't care anymore. Like she renovated his whole trailer, and was, after he moved, was like, you can't move back in there because I'm selling it. So it's done. So hopefully this is like the rock bottom that he needs, because the one place where he always thought he could go back to, he no longer can go. So
yeah, it's tough.
Actually, I'd be interested to see if he'd ever want to talk to you, because it's different. It's different talking.
Usually.
Well, yeah, because if they do, that means they gotta hear their bullshit, and you call them out on their bullshit.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. He's that old school, like, he needs that hard ass, like, his. I'm not gonna get in too deep, but his father, like, is a very difficult relationship, not around a lot. So like when he has like a strong male figure in his life, or somebody that is willing to just call him out on his bullshit, whether he likes it initially or not, he tends to gravitate towards that more because he respects him.
That.
So I'd be interested.
And what usually happens sometimes too is people that know me, that are in that situation, will avoid me on purpose, because they know what's going to happen. And then what'll happen is, say, a year later, when they did get help, they are getting help, they've been sober for a couple months, they'll message me then, and they're like, man, I was just too afraid to talk to you because I knew what you were going to say. And me, but think about that. That's an influence too.
Yeah.
You know, in a positive way. They knew what was going to get.
If I fuck up, Troy's going to be on my ass.
I do not want to hear that.
Yeah.
People would avoid because they don't want to hear it. But
yeah, I'll talk to him. And see if he's ever interested. And
yeah. So I had a couple other things. Nick Cannon. This was news this past weekend. Amber Rose, Nick Cannon debunked false narratives about Trump and the Republican Party. How long is the video?
I have no idea how long this one is.
Yeah, I think we could play a little bit of it. I think that'd be all right. Of course, the knives are out for him now. How dare that? How dare...
Dude, I saw a video of this guy. It was a conservative versus a liberal. And he was like tabled, kind of like how Charlie Kirk got started. And this liberal literally didn't do anything except pull out his phone and just start calling him a terrorist and a Nazi. Like, he was genuinely just trying to have a conversation, and the guy would not just shut the fuck up. Like, would not shut the fuck up. And he made himself look more like a clown, because in the comments, like, people that weren't conservatives were making fun of him because of what he was doing. Like, he was being ignorant, and then he was wearing super tight jeans, and his boots looked all funny too. So like, they were clowning him about the way he looked with that. I don't. It just goes to show, like, that shit. Nobody cares what you have to say if you're a dickhead about it.
Right.
No one gives a fuck. You could be the smartest person in the world. No one's gonna fucking listen to you.
Yeah. We good?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah,
Yep.
Trump has always been known, like, before people was hating on him, like, he would be at all the events with, like, Russell Simmons and all the black parties.
Yeah.
He fuck with black women, like.
He had black girlfriend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Publicly.
Trump has always been, that nigga was on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yep. He didn't have to do that.
But when he got political, that's when, people start putting the racist jacket on.
It's all propaganda.
I honestly don't think he's racist. I think he's Trumpist.
Here's the thing. If Trump was racist, right? Let's say he was pandering just to get the vote.
Yeah.
Right? Why is he still doing shit for black people right now? He could have been like, yo, fuck y'all. I got your vote. I don't give a fuck about y'all. I'm already in office. I can't run another 4 years. I already did 4 years.
I think it's real dope. The lady he made the pardon czar.
Yes.
He made her he pardoned her and then made her the pardon czar to make sure that anybody who is actually been done wrong by the system.
Yes.
Even Trump, like Trump has always been known, like before people was hating
is there a
on
second
him,
part to that
like
video?
he would be at all the events with like Russell Simmons.
Yeah,
and
hell
all the-
That was good though.
Yeah, I mean, just gives you a brief overview on how, like, you know, the everyday person thinks about Trump, not just the crazy ass liberals on the internet.
Well, and it's real interesting, you know, since we've since we had that interview with Alante McCulley from Philadelphia, and just to see him since then and the continued work, I've been following his work and what he's been doing and going in front of these city councils and talking and you know, just bringing the truth, man. And you know, he's getting the hate, obviously too, but he takes it very well, and it doesn't stop him, and he just keeps going. And I love seeing that, you know, because I don't care, you know, what color they are, but it does matter in one way where you know, if I said something about a situation and a black person, and it was in that context versus a black person saying it to another black person, there's a difference. There just is. It's just a different weight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I welcome people like that because and I wish we didn't look at it like color like that, but still, you know, these people that attack him, why do you think all black people should think alike? Why do you think that's a thing? And the number of people, just like we, you know, showed that video of that professor from Vanderbilt, how she explained, you know, and you can't debunk her.
Yeah.
It's not possible. But there are still many Democrats who I just saw over this past weekend with the No Kings thing, and people bringing this up about the KKK being, you know, the military wing of the Democratic Party, and that this whole thing about Republicans and Democrats switching didn't happen, you know, that still believe that. There are just so many people that just believe this fake history that isn't true. And we have a black, smart, intelligent female professor that lays it all out. And if somebody can debunk her, please do it point by point and send it to me. I want to see it. I want to see it. Change my mind.
I'd pay to see that. I'd literally pay her to host a show in which she does nothing but answer the initial questions that, you know, a non-believer or somebody trying to debunk her that they would have. Yeah. And then just watch her just fucking crumble every single thing that they have to say just from the foundation up. Yeah. Because you know that's how it would happen. And have you seen that one? It's that one, like, it's not a podcast, but it's more of like a show, I guess we'll call it. But there's two people in the middle, and it's usually some sort of political pundit or political influencer versus like the everyday person that is opposing them. And it's like a whole crowd of people. And they have like a certain time limit to talk and everything. And when you see how out, like, numbers truly matter in these discussions sometimes, because you could be right, but if you're in a room full of 50 people who are actively against you and they're actively cheering everything that the other person is saying, it turns into like you being yelled at and no longer a discussion. And like that's my only issue with it, because this professor would not allow that to happen. Like, as much as these political pundits know, like, there's a difference between being educated about it and just like being in it. And like the timeline of the history and everything like that, I've never seen them bring it up. They kind of just bring up like modern day and like why somebody did this and why somebody did that. She will go straight back to the very beginning, which these people would not have any clue about, and it immediately would shut them down. And I would literally pay her to be the host and pay guests to come on.
And she's very calm, too.
That's what I'm saying.
That calming.
Yeah, like it would be so easy for her, and just to see, like, I would love to see them try and pull some sort of race card with her. I'm so eager to see what would happen with that. We'll probably never get it, but I would like to see it.
Yeah, well, I would too. And so that goes kind of into the No Kings that we had this weekend, the No Kings protest. Here's the thing. I saw people ask the question on socials this past weekend. Well, you know, where were we? Where were the conservatives? Where were the counter protesters? We were at ball games.
Yeah.
We were at dinner. We went to the gym and worked out. We spent time with our families.
Yeah.
You know, that's
We weren't doing this
That's
shit.
what we did. We didn't come down because we think you're just insane.
Yeah.
And I know that if I show up there, okay, I know I want to show up because the only way you're going to get me is because you outnumber me.
Mm-hmm.
But so I'm going to show up with some 20 badasses. And I don't really need many more than that because that's all and we'll fuck you the shit up.
Yeah.
You know, and I promise that I know if I put myself in that environment
Mm-hmm.
and somebody walked up to me screaming like some of these people do,
Yeah.
I am not that maggot.
Yeah.
Okay, you call me whatever you want, maggot, deplorable, Nazi, cult member, whatever, pedo protector, you name it. You do that to my face. You don't have to. I'm just gonna, you know, if I get arrested, I'm just gonna say you spit on me. No,
Yeah.
they spit on me, so I hit him. But I am gonna hit you
Oh, yeah.
and more. There's gonna be a brawl,
Well, thing is, you can actually.
and I'm not just gonna hit you once.
yeah. Oh, yeah. It's never. Yeah. It's never
That's
just a
not gonna
one time.
happen. I don't fight like that.
Yeah. Well, even if you did, a chain reaction of events would happen anyways.
Right.
But I saw something that people were actually talking about legally. When somebody is in your face, like harassing you, like any form of harassment, you do have like an alleyway to kind of, if it needs to be physical, like I'm talking about if they're in your face threatening, like there's a fine line, but people are saying that you can actually retaliate in self-defense because something's being forced upon you that you don't want.
Depends on it's a per state basis. 'Cause
Well, yeah, everything's
I
gonna be
know
per
only
state.
like 3 different
Yeah, because I'm
states
thinking
actually apply that.
that a lot of them, it's going to be you didn't have a way to leave, you couldn't have walked away, and see, I'm not going to turn my back and let a motherfucker hit me from behind.
Well, not that, and you're also
And the
circled
other
by 'em.
thing is, I've even when I was, I know it does sound believable, but believe me anyways, that even when I've proclaimed self-defense, which was really hard because I did hit you first.
I didn't antagonize you first,
No,
but I did
no.
hit
If
you
it's
first.
if it's gonna go down, you just kind of know if
Yeah.
you've been in fights, and I have. I'm not like these fucking losers that haven't ever done this stuff.
Yeah.
I roll, man. You don't know who I am. You don't know that you could say whatever you want about my nipples on the internet and stuff, and you know, pink shirts. Like, yeah, men have been wearing pink for 20-some years, man. I don't know what your fucking problem is. Like, it's just crazy. But yeah, and I'm enjoying my haters right now. That I'm just trying to get them to convert them to like hate me more or don't miss out on other opportunities to hate on me and hit the follow button.
Yeah.
Just hit the follow button.
Oh, yeah.
So that you can make more dumbass comments.
Yeah, for
because I
sure.
want you to. Like, that's good. I'm all good with it. You know,
For sure.
say whatever. All comers is a good thing. But yeah, I know what would happen. So I don't put myself in that position yet.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I'm not ready and I'm not waiting, because there are some things that are a line that will cross for me. And one of those lines is if they tried to impeach Trump or remove him from office. We won the election.
Yeah.
And they're basically being election deniers right now.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't win the election. You don't get to control the agenda. So to hold TSA and DHS hostage and those employees, you don't get to do. You lost the election.
Mhm.
That doesn't mean that you shouldn't play your role or, you know, contribute as a minority member on the minority side, but generally you're going to have to give. The majority, you know, we chose this. And I don't care about anybody that's, you know, because I don't believe most of the ones. I think they're fake. I think it's especially on social media, that it's a Democrat who makes a fake account and says, "Yes, I was an independent, or I was whatever, and then but I voted for Trump, and I wish I hadn't done that now." I believe you're lying. I believe you made it up.
Yeah.
99% of the time. I'm not saying there's not anybody that's that can't say that legitimately, but I don't think most of them are, because I know their behavior. I know what they've done in the past. I know what they've done. And even these were not peaceful. These were not peaceful. They had problems in various cities, like this.
The second that you obstruct people, you obstruct traffic and you prevent people from going to their jobs or running errands, doing an appointment, doing any of that stuff, it's no longer peaceful, because that you're prohibiting somebody from something that they're not probably even affiliated with.
In some of the places there were a small number of counter protesters, and it didn't go well.
I imagine it didn't. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Imagine it.
But that's what I'm saying. If you're going to go as a counter protester to this, you have to know what's going to happen.
Yep.
And you have to get yourself a big enough group that knows that that's going to happen and that's willing to throw down with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know. That's how I'm viewing this and doing this. But just because I wasn't there don't mean I don't care. I just making fun of you people at this point, because the whole idea of no kings is so ignorant, especially after we played that video last week of that small protest of 40, 50 people in New York who were praising Hamas and the other terrorist groups, Hezbollah, and, cheering on that bullshit. That's just so insane to me. But for you to be able to do that and then say no kings, motherfucker, you should be grateful for this country that you can have this protest that you have and call out no kings. Because if we had a fucking king, if we had a fucking real dictator, thousands of you, not just a few, thousands of you, because that's what happened in Iran. Thousands, anywhere between 30 and 40,000. And I haven't heard that number really disputed by anyone to say that was bullshit. But somewhere between 30 and 40,000 Iranians here in the last 6 months, or whatever time period we want to give it, where they were having some protests and stuff, that have been killed. You could literally not be in these other countries that you want to proclaim a love for and do this kind of protest. You're literally proving by having this protest that we don't have a king or a dictator. And that's what we see. That's what we see on the right. Us dumb people, we're uneducated, Trump-like stupid people. You guys just make up the same shit over and over and over and over again. And, it was Hitler, Nazi, pedophile. And none of that. If you have proof, present it. But until you do, you can go fuck off. And the rest of us, we're the ones making the country still work. We're the ones that are showing up, because somebody had to show up on Saturday. Because obviously you didn't. How many of those motherfuckers you think? I bet there were a lot of call-offs.
Oh, yeah.
Because there are a lot of people that they don't. That's the way schedules are made with businesses today. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not everybody has a Monday through Friday 9 to 5.
Yeah.
They're working evenings, they're working weekends.
Yep.
And I just, you work at Target.
Yeah.
And you called off.
Yeah.
Somebody else had to fill your spot and make up for it because you didn't meet your obligation.
Yeah.
Why should that person have to give up the one Saturday they were going to have off this weekend because you want to go act like an idiot?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
but I'm sure there were a lot of those.
Well, the best part is everything that they claim, the opposition to be, everything they say that they do. When you get up in these protests and you see the Nick Shirleys of the world,
yes.
the gentleman that I was talking about earlier, who set up a table just to have a conversation. It's immediate violence with them. It's never civil. It's never anything. It's violence to the degree where you shut the fuck up and listen to what I have to say. You're wrong. We're going to threaten you with this and that. We're going to get in your face. Now, obviously, when the tables turn, they fucking tuck tail and head for the hills. That's just what they do. But the way that they try to paint out people who support Trump or the Republican Party, conservative, or whatever you want to call it, that is just how they act on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Because it's like almost childlike to where they're being called out on their nonsense and all they know is emotion to try and construe the whole situation to make themselves feel better about it, about how they feel, what they're doing, their beliefs, everything like that.
Yeah, because they're so insecure.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is their insecurities are probably the underlying reason why they're actually out there, as we've discussed. Like there's a sense of belonging with all this, whether they agree with it or they think they agree with it and they truly don't. I mean, what the biggest example? Oh my God, you would know. Remember during Trump's when he first got elected, there was that trans chick or like whatever in New York, and she was like on her hands and knees screaming. She's like screaming no at the air, like screaming.
Yeah, okay, I know which one you're talking about.
Do you know? Like a year later, and to this day, that person is one of the biggest Trump supporters. They might be more delusional about Trump than anybody. They might support it more than you and I do. I'm not joking. I was like, I thought this was like, I saw it a couple years ago. I thought people were just fucking around. I went to this person's account, MAGA everywhere, USA flags everywhere. That same person. And then they acknowledged that was them at one point too.
Wow.
So it's like the fucking full 180 that they do just goes to show the mentality that they have. So how do you switch that easy? How?
Yeah.
Like that's such a it's one thing to be like so far to the left and then like you creep over to the middle and then to the right. This is going fucking the furthest to the left to the furthest to the right. 180. Now I'm not gonna talk about their mental situation, but just the fact that one example and then you apply that to how many other people that this has happened to or it will continue to happen to, and they're gonna look back like, what the fuck was I thinking? What was I saying? That's where we're at, is social media group thought.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And you have people that just, they feel like they can get more praise or more attention by opposing Trump than supporting him.
Yeah. That's all it is. It's TOS, Trump opposition syndrome.
Yeah.
Like people would think that I'm the biggest Trump supporter in the world, and I'm really not. Like I've called him out on things that I didn't agree with. Like I don't fucking suck his dick every day. I'm just happy to have somebody that's not a fucking pussy and cares about America and not every other country that exists. Like
that's it.
I don't want to be drained of all of our resources.
And not just that. People often forget is, what was the other choice?
Oh yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What was the choice?
That's the number one thing I say. Fuck everything else when I talk to people out there. I'm like, how I was like, justify to me how somebody that has all these words, pedophile, felon, tax evasion, criminal, all this that you want to say, how is this person still viewed as somebody that is more fit for the presidential office than Kamala, who has this supposedly perfect track record and history and qualifications? How did that happen? If he's so bad and he's so morally wrong and such a piece of shit, why did everybody think he was a better option than Kamala? And no one can fucking give me a straight answer on that. They never have. It's always they double back on something or they try to deflect or bring something up about Trump and they never answer the direct question. And they don't need to. They really don't, because I know.
Well, and that's it. Even with the war with Iran, I'm a conservative because you have a split. It's not a 50-50 split, but you have a split in the Republican Party with people that thought no wars meant like no wars, I guess. And I didn't kind of view it that way, like in stone kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It was more of a general policy and how I wanted to handle things. But, you can only do diplomacy so far. And when it's not working, that you have to have some type of force to be able to back it up. Otherwise, the diplomacy is bullshit. You're always going to get run over. You're going to get walked over. And that's what happened. We've been walked over time and time again. And so just so you're thinking, oh, well, I don't like that Trump did that. And now you're abandoning Trump. again, what was the alternative? Because I'm sorry, Iran war or not, none of that's enough to make me think, well, man, I really fucked up. I should have voted for Kamala. No, there's none of that. None of that.
No regret whatsoever.
No.
Because I know it's what would.
There is no disagreement I have with Trump that makes me wish that I'd have voted for her.
We'd be We'd be giving more money to Iran right now if Kamala was in office. I can tell you that right now. It would have been. We would have folded like a fucking lawn chair, just to keep peace, and then we would have been fucking shelling out more of our money to them, which comes out of our fucking tax dollars. And it's just the same. It was they had 4 years to prove to you to get any of the shit that they said that they were going to do to get done, and they didn't get any of it done. So why would you think an additional 4 years would be able to serve that from the same exact regime?
Right.
Why?
And she flat out told us when she was asked on The View, what would you do differently? Nothing.
Exactly. And shit like that's what lost her the election. It's because even if you want Kamala, there was no doubt that something needed to be done. There's never, I don't think anybody, regardless of what political party you affiliate with or none at all, you can agree that there's always something to be worked on in this country, no matter what. Like, we're not perfect. We're a great country, but we're far from perfect.
The right answer is real simple. The right answer was saying, well, look, my position was as the vice president to offer my personal view, which I did to the president. And other people, some of the other cabinet members had my view. Some of them didn't. They had other views. He listened to them all. He made the policy. And then, I appreciated that he listened to me, but I supported, I would then support whatever policy he decided on. So just know that I'm my own person. And, are there things that I'll do differently? Obviously, I'm a different person. There were different choices that I would make because we just... there were maybe 6 or 7 options and only one was chosen. And sometimes we make options or choose things that don't work and we have to change course and try something else. There's your answer on how you treat that.
Anything besides what she said.
Anything besides
She thought that was that one word punchline was just going to seal it, hook, line, and sinker. But even if she did answer the way that she did, the policies that she wanted to instill fucking sucked anyway. So there's that.
For sure.
So the thing I bring up most, and I can't believe anybody doesn't on that side still agreed with it and just doesn't fucking just come out and say this. But the fact that she wanted to give money to transgender prisoners for sex changes, why the fuck are we prioritizing that in any scenario at all? They're in fucking prison. One of them was literally the one that was.
And the thing is, you just made a campaign issue out of something maybe 10 people want.
Yeah.
10 prisoners.
Exactly.
But everybody's it's going to be a 95-5 issue.
Nobody cares. And the one that they were trying to put up on a pedestal, I guess we'll call it, as the forefront of this policy, they were in jail for attempted rape of a minor. So it's why are you...
Yeah, that's what we want to do.
That's what I'm saying. Why are you giving this person a spotlight of any kind, a voice of any kind? You want to talk about pedophiles?
Right. There you go.
Right fucking there. In jail for it.
Right.
Just asinine.
They like their own pedophiles.
Yeah, it's good to be... Yeah, I guess you just sniff little girls quietly, and that's okay.
And last thing is we're going to wrap up today. A little bit of talk, obviously, because part of the work that I do is... with peptides and hormone replacement therapy. I did see that article about cheap Chinese drug ingredients for weight loss. And, there what I would say is this, is that for somebody that is looking for other options with these weight loss drugs, and they are going to, choose this option to find something on the internet that's, from one of these Chinese companies that makes GLP-1s or whatever it is find a way to get it tested. Find a way to get it tested. It might cost you a little bit, but the money will be worth it to know that you have a real legitimate source, if you're going to go that route, If you can go, even though I hammer on doctors, look, if you can get your doctor to, to listen to you and to help give you advice, or hire a nutritionist so that you can eat right, and a trainer so that you can start training and keep your muscle, all of those things are important. But as far as the drug itself, there is concern, and I've seen it happen. I can tell you that, years ago when I first started using testosterone, it was mainly testosterone that came from Mexico, and it was high quality, and they have, manufacturing facilities down there in Guadalajara, and it was high quality. It was what it said on the bottle. And I could tell you last year, I did actually take some of their Mexican products, and I had it tested, and it didn't come back as it said it was. And in particular, there was a test Cypionate 250 that we sent to be tested. It came back 50 milligrams test propionate, 50 milligrams test enethate, and 50 milligrams test cypionate. So test is test, true. All of those different cypionate, enethate, propionate, that just means they're different esters and stay in your body different length of time. So that wasn't going to hurt anyone, but it didn't have 250 milligrams of test in it like it was supposed to per ml. It only had 150. And then it was a blend, and it didn't say it was a blend on the bottle. It said it was all cypionate. So, you're just not getting what you thought you were getting. Again, it wasn't going to hurt you, but it also wasn't going to do, if you're expecting, if you're doing a certain dose, 200 milligrams, or you're doing let's say 250 milligrams a week on TRT, and you're splitting it into 2 doses, you're getting 75, or actually, yeah, you're getting 75 milligrams twice a week, and not the 125 you thought you were.
Mm-hmm.
That can make a big difference in how you feel, what the result is from your test level. Now, some people do great on 150 a week for their TRT. But again, if somebody's been dialed in and they know that 250 is what puts them at the high end, like it does me, 250 puts me at the high end between like 12 and 1300. So that's the high end of normal. But this 250 would not have done that. My levels wouldn't have been there, and I know where my levels are on that particular dose. So again, it wouldn't hurt, but you think you're getting legitimate product, and a lot of times you aren't, and the only way you can know is through testing. And that years ago when I started doing it, I was testing before anybody was testing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just because I wanted to know for my own self, because that's how I got started down this road. Is I cared about what I was putting into my own body, and I wanted to know that what I was getting was what it actually should be. So that's the thing with these, and especially because so many Americans struggle with being overweight and being obese, and these are great tools. I say they're great tools. Just beware. Beware if you're not going through your doctor. Just be a little aware of the source that you're getting legitimate stuff. So just kind of wanted to share that as we wrap up today. All right, I think that's good. Like that's a show for today.
Yeah, I agree.
We're pretty good.
I think we're
all right. Hope everybody gets off their week off to a good start here, and I'm ready to myself. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy.
Whoa! Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the